The Odyssey follows King Odysseus as he begins a long journey home after 10 years of war. But getting back to Ithaca won't be easy. Along the way, he faces mythical creatures, impossible trials, and the wrath of gods as he fights to return to the woman he loves. If there's one thing you can count on with a Christopher Nolan film, it's spectacle. Every Nolan movie feels like an event, and this one had my attention from the very moment it was announced. Not only is it directed by Christopher Nolan, but it's also an adaptation of one of the most influential stories ever told. Now, I'll be honest, I never read the Odyssey. Most of what I know comes from the 1997 television miniseries, and Troy, starring Brad Pitt and Eric Bana, and most recently, The Return. So I wasn't expecting a perfectly faithful adaptation. I simply wanted to see Christopher Nolan tell his story his way. And if there's one thing I was especially excited for, it was the Greek monsters. That was my biggest question going in. How would Nolan bring these legendary creatures to life? Would he lean more into fantasy? Would he ground everything in realism? Or would he find that perfect balance between the two? Now that I've seen the film, Christopher Nolan absolutely delivered. This film was epic. Nolan found a balance between realism and mythology that I honestly wasn't sure could be done. The Cyclops sequence is easily one of the film's highlights. It's tense, horrifying, cinematic, and showcases Christopher Nolan at the top of his game, using every filmmaking tool at his disposal to bring the scene to life. I was also pleasantly surprised by the cast. Every actor, no matter how large or small the role, felt completely committed to the story. Before the movie even released, people were already criticizing certain casting choices. Now, seeing the film, I didn't have a problem with any of it. I thought everyone fit their role. And even if one casting choice wasn't perfect, many of those characters have such limited screen time that it wouldn't even have changed the overall experience. Now, like many Nolan films, the first half moves incredibly fast, especially during exposition. There were a few moments where I was trying to keep up, but once everything is established, the pacing settles into a much smoother rhythm. As for Ludwig Göransson's score, I hope I said his name right, I loved it overall. There were one or two moments where the score didn't completely land for me, but those moments were few and far between. Once Odysseus and his crew arrived to the Cyclops island, that's when this movie completely hooked me. From that point on, I was locked in. In addition to the Cyclops cave scene, there is another scene in this movie that convinced me that Christopher Nolan needs to make a horror film. And that's all I'll say. It seems like Matt Damon was an obvious choice to play Odysseus, but he brought far more to that role than I expected. He carries the emotional weight of this journey in a way that feels completely believable, making this version of the character feel more complete than previous adaptations I've seen. Anne Hathaway is also fantastic. She carries an incredible emotional burden throughout the film, and you see every bit of it on screen. Then there's Tom Holland. Outside of Spider-Man, this is easily one of my favorite performances I've seen from him. With Christopher Nolan, you expect something ambitious. The Odyssey not only meets those expectations, it surpasses them. The build up to the finale and the payoff that follows are incredibly satisfying. I'm giving the Odyssey an 8.5 out of 10. I wish I can do a deep dive into this movie a bit more, but I think I need to rewatch the movie again before I can do any type of spoiler review. One last thing, I absolutely have no idea what everybody was so upset about before this movie came out. Lately, I've noticed a trend where movies are judged long before anyone has actually seen them. Every casting announcement, every set photo, every behind-the-scenes image gets picked apart as if the finished movie is already a failure. Some films never recover from that kind of online dogpile, unfortunately. Thankfully, the Odyssey doesn't just survive it, it completely rises above it. Christopher Nolan delivers another visually stunning film filled with unforgettable moments. It's exactly the kind of big screen experience I was hoping for. Better luck next time, haters. Those are my thoughts on the Odyssey. Have you seen it? If you have, what did you think? Let me know down in the comments, and be sure to keep it spoiler free for everyone who hasn't seen it yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.